CEO, Training Engagement Specialist here at Eventide. I'm joined today with Brady Johnsrud. He is the Executive Director for our Cheyenne Crossings location, which is located in West Fargo. I'm also joined with Laura Mayer. She is our Senior Living Advisor. Thank you both for joining us today.
Thanks for having me, Missy.
Yes, and today we are going to be talking about the benefits of living in senior living communities, especially during these uncertain times. Laura, if I could start with you, what are some of the benefits of living in senior living communities?
Well, there's a lot of great benefits living in a senior community. Many times when people first move in, they move to our apartments. You can be there whether you're fully independent or you need some help and assistance throughout the day. We have safety checks and clinical staff that can really help with your needs if you were to have them. Living at a senior living community really offers a variety of activities, fellowship, and services when they're needed. We have lots of different amenities that are offered at each of our campuses, such as chapels, wellness center, movie theater, even outdoor patios and a library. So there's really something for everybody when you move into our communities. I know many people have experienced a lot of isolation recently. What a better way to gain access to social opportunities than living in a safe environment. At Eventide, we continue to help our residents to thrive. And I think another way that we do that is through our whole continuum of care that we offer at Eventide. You can live here and be independent. We have assisted living. We have memory care for those that have cognitive decline. We have transitional care for people who need some short-term therapy and rehab. And we also have long-term care. So really you can age in place all while being at Eventide.
Well, thank you for sharing that, Laura. You brought up a very good point about isolation because that's on the minds of a lot of people right now. And Brady, when we think of isolation and people are hearing stories of being isolated within within the communities that we have, isn't there isolation a factor at our homes too, when people are living at home yet too?
Yeah, I would say absolutely. When we look at a lot of the people who come and tour into our buildings, there's several who maybe they're coming from, they're living alone in their home. Maybe they've lost a spouse or they lost some close friends. And especially with COVID-19, there's not as many social gatherings to go to. You'll see restaurants for the senior centers really limiting their capacity of what they're allowing. So those opportunities aren't there as much as they were previously, especially probably pre-COVID-19. So our facilities allow great opportunities for residents once they move in, whether it's coming down to our activities. I think it's funny when we have so many residents who come in, they'll come walking down the hallways and they'll see an old friend, a second cousin, maybe it's someone they used to know from church, and it's like snap of a finger, all of a sudden they've made a friend, and it's really awesome to see. So having those opportunities when you're all under this one roof is really cool to see, and our facilities offer some great opportunities.
Well, I think it's so fun to see people reconnecting after all those years, and it's really fun to be part of all that. So Laura, what are your thoughts about what this being a good time to be moving into a senior living community like Eventide?
Great. As many of us know, winter and snow are right around the corner. So that includes shoveling and snow blowing, icy walkways, and even icy roads. So, in the winter, people are even more isolated than maybe they have been recently because of the bad weather. At Eventide, you don't have to worry about that. We have many of those things right here on campus that you would be going out for. We even have transportation that can get you to those medical appointments that you're needing, which you were, driving across town for already. So, those are great reasons to start looking and to move in now before the snow flies, because it's inevitable and it's coming. Many of our residents don't have to worry about the maintenance anymore, meals, other household obligations, because again, that's all taken care of for you. There's less to worry about. So really there's more time to just enjoy life when you're at Eventide.
Right, right. And those are some real factors that you're talking about. There's taking care of extra things and the weather that's definitely coming our way soon. And another thing that's a real factor that's on the minds of a lot of people is the factor of price. Can you share with us about the differences of living at home and the price there or living in one of our communities?
And that's a great question. When people are first starting their search looking for senior communities, when they initially see that cost, it's almost like a scary sticker shock. But it's important to realize that it's not just the room that you're paying for. All of your costs are really lumped into one sum. So you're paying for, yes, your apartment, but also utilities, cable, internet, phone, that emergency pendant system, maybe 2 meals a day, transportation, maintenance, and housekeeping. I mean, so lump all those together, and then that cost isn't so scary. When you're at home, all of your bills are separate. You're paying your mortgage, your property tax, your homeowner's insurance, all of your bills at home, maybe for car maintenance and gas, gym membership. All of these things really add up. So if you take the time to, lay out all of your current expenses in your home, it really ends up being pretty comparable.
Right, right. And I think of the safety factor of someone's there for you day and night. So there's never a concern about being alone. And that's a very important thing for a lot of people. And, thinking about safety and where we're at today with COVID, Brady, what can you share with us about some of the safety factors that have been put in place at Eventide and throughout our campuses?
Yeah, absolutely. So to say it's been an interesting last 6 months would be a little bit of an understatement, but it's been really cool to see all the different things our team has put into place to make our facilities successful and to really put our residents in opportunities where they can thrive as well. I would say that the number one thing that we're doing to help keep everyone safe is our testing. We do regular testing with our residents and in our employees, which really helps us limit any type of spread, whether that be from employees to residents, employee to employee, or resident to resident. We see a lot of our positive staff are asymptomatic, so they don't have any symptoms, obviously. So having the ability to test and make sure those people aren't on the floor of our buildings working, we'll take them off the schedule, really gives us an advantage and helps limit the spread. The other thing that is really important is our PPE use. So you'll see a lot of our employees around the building wearing their medical grade face mask and eye protection. And really that's just there to protect everyone else around them. I touched on earlier about the asymptomatic staff and staff and individuals on the community not even knowing that they're carrying the virus. So wearing that PPE appropriately and providing that for all of our employees and for residents as well is another really key feature to keeping everyone safe. And what I think I wanted to kind of touch on top of this is having these procedures in place has allowed us to get to a point now where we can start to look at doing some more of the reopening in our senior living facilities, so our assisted livings. So some of the things we had shut down our communal dinings and our assisted livings, as well as all of the other long-term care facilities across North Dakota and the country and activities. But we're into a point now where we have a full activity schedule. We're able to do fun things while social distancing, wearing masks, but at the same time, we're doing exercise classes. We're playing bingo. We're back to doing those great things. Doing some of our tour outings here and there. We started up, I know some of the facilities have been doing some communal dining for a while. Again, following the guidelines from the North Dakota Department of Health while we implement these types of things. So it's an exciting time as we're feeling out, we use the term, that new normal a lot, but it's exciting to see us getting closer and closer back to where we were 6-7 months ago.
Right. Well, and like you mentioned, we're taking precautions whenever the states advise us to do things differently. And now that we're in a space of being able to open up a little bit more, that really helps. And, that's something that I think about that over the years in listening to family members, and a common concern is, family members are noticing that their loved ones are starting to, when they're at, throughout their lives, they're social and like to do different events and activities. And as they progress through their lifestyles, sometimes it gets to be where their family members notice that their loved ones are becoming more isolated in their homes and not as social as they used to be. Can you share with us, Brady, a little bit about when someone might notice that they are isolating themselves more and more at home, and some of the benefits of moving into a senior living community if they do notice that?
I would say one of my, if not my favorite part of being in long-term care is seeing a resident move in and watching them get comfortable in their environment and really getting to that point of thriving. And I've seen that countless times in my time in long-term care. One story I think really sticks out to me is during my time at Eventide, the Fairmont, and in Moorhead is when the family first came in and toured, they really had concerns about socialization. This family member was no longer wanting to go out or didn't have the drive. Also struggling with things like hygiene and eating appropriately, and they had just a lot going on at that time. And we got this individual moved into our building. We have in most of our facilities, we have a welcome committee. So we had a current residents come down, get this resident, bring them to meals, bring them to activities. And the family wasn't able to see this individual for their first 2 to 3 weeks in our facility, but they came about 3 weeks in, and they came to my office in tears. And they were talking about how happy they were, and really how their family member was a new person. We could set them up with services so that they had appropriate hygiene. They're getting their 3 meals a day. She had made 6 or 7 new friends and was going to all the activities, and it's so great to see, and changing lives. It can do a 180 for someone. So again, that's just one of my favorite parts when you get to see that in a daily basis there at Eventide. So that's what I think that's why we're all here, and why many of us as employees have chosen this industry, is to watch the growth and see people thrive.
And we can talk about that, can't we, about how we want our residents to thrive. It's when we really see it in action and people really living out their lives fully that it really comes home, and it means a lot to all of us. That's a great story. Thank you for sharing that. Our time here is coming to a close, and I wonder if there are any last thoughts you have for us, Laura.
I think my best advice is, winter is coming. So it's a good idea to look now. Nobody knows what the future holds. I always commend people when they look before they need it, because, whether they're looking for a year from now, 6 months from now, 5 years from now, they've already kind of done the homework in the background. The future is really unknown for everybody. So if something unplanned event happens that all of a sudden you need to make that decision, you've kind of already done your homework, and you know where you want to go, who to contact. All that homework is done and ready, and then it's an easier transition to move it.
Right. And if someone would like to connect with you, Laura, to get more information, how can they do that?
Yes, they can call me directly. My number is 218-291-2200, and I can answer any questions that you have.
Great. And what is your email?
My email is Laura, Laura, Mayert, Mayeart, @eventide.org.
Great. Well, thank you so much for sharing. And what about you, Brady? Are there any last thoughts that you have?
Yeah, I wanted to come on today too, probably to kind of dispel some of the things you might be hearing about long-term care facilities in this point in time, and really it's a great place to be, especially now as we're working on our reopening and providing many more opportunities for our residents. And then I would echo what Laura said as well, is do your homework, do what you need to do, so when the time comes, you're prepared and know where you want to go. And absolutely, we encourage you to talk to Laura and about any of our Eventide sites across the region here. So lots of great facilities, lots of great employees, and look forward to hearing from some of you in the near future.
Great, great. Well, and thank you too for taking time out to visit with us here today. And I also want to thank all of you for viewing this video. And if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to any of the EDs or Laura, as she mentioned her phone number and her email. Have a great day.